Okie dokie, let's rank the Lady of Light characters by achievements. So, the Lady of Light. This time we get Siegless, as well as Veseleth, Ringface, Hanaseed, and other inevitable people. But yeah. Who else will round out our top 7 achievers over the course of the Lady of Lights? Let's see. Anywho, at number 7, I've got Call. Call is weird, because on a personal level, he ain't that dude. You got Veseleth going Vince Carter on people's heads, this mother effer being the shit, but Call. I think it's the sum of things that helps Call here, because his resume ends up pretty nice by the end of the Lady of Lights.
Dork warning. Dork warning. This is an emergency broadcast of Dork warning. If you don't want horrible puns, click off now.
He's like that person who clocks on every single day, 5 days a week, never calls off, you know? Even if they're not the fastest worker ever, just being consistent all day, every day is valuable, you know? Chapter 15, My Soul Waits in Silence, is Call's best moment if we have to single something out. Siegless and Call have to liberate a village with nobody else to fall back on, but old people, who are willing to die to give their children and grandchildren hope and a future. And maybe great-grandchildren in some of these people's cases. Props to the old people. But without Siegless and Call, there's no chance in hell. And Call came up big. Funnily enough, he only got 1 kill. But genuinely, Siegless could not have gotten the job done without him taking that tool. Siegless is just not taking 2v1s. And by sending Siegless off while he stalled, Call gave Siegless the chance to save some women who otherwise would have been killed in retaliation, and also kill the leader.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Welcome to the black market. Technically, Call didn't get any kills that chapter. Siegless came along last second like a bum to steal the finishing hit after Call cut off the man's hand. So yeah.
Beyond that, in Chapter 16, I think we have Call's second best thing to point to. Siegless is devastated by how many senior citizens went to heaven 2 weeks early, and we see the big consistent draw Call always has in supporting and motivating Siegless through all the absolute shit she has to deal with every mother effing day. Little things, sure, but things that mean something, stand for something. Changing lives and events in ways that transcend an initial smile or kind word itself.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet? So, as Mr. Wallace pointed out to me, there's a funny thing, and I wonder if you can figure it out.
Is this a question for us?
Yes,
Dr.
it
Clark?
is, in just a second.
But first, before I give the question, I just have to say, this disgusting dancing animation of me is so ugly, and I hate it. I do not look like that. I love Light, but he's a dork. Please avert your eyes when you see it. Damn. If you want to do something dorky, do something dorky to Lathimian. Anyways, and now we can pop up Mr. Wallace's question.
Show me.
Show some respect to this man.
Show me.
Back up.
Okay, show me.
Who nabs the number 6 spot on our list? Cast your bets. Get him in now.
General Mother effing Veseleth, that dude has arrived. Michael Jordan with the goddamn sword. Ain't nobody got anything on him. He's like LeVar Ball, never lost.
One-on-one, I'm undefeated, never lost.
That's really the entirety of his case here, the fighting, because Hanaseed does all the hard lifting strategically to get Team Siegless to Reloia. But hey, that's another thing entirely. Don't sweat the small stuff. Anywho, General Veseleth is a swordsman specializing in the neutral form of swordplay Zer Serva. And he puts his skill to work immediately in the Lady of Light, nabbing Siegless and getting her to safety to the catacombs underneath Sinlir to start Chapter 1. That was big enough, or else the cultists very well might have killed Siegless. But then his blade was also pivotal in helping Team Siegless fight their way out of Sinlir and fight off so many trackers trying to kill Siegless and the Holy Line once and for all in the Holy War. So, the Lady of Light has 27 chapters, right? Chapters 1 through 6 is so where this man gets funky. Mother effer, get down! Lay it down, big dog. I think it's funny that Veseleth's best showing is literally immediately when other people will be so far down the line. Number 5, top 5 hype. Slotting in the 5, we have Jorvaneum Militera. His feats were pretty huge in this book, and if someone wanted to even put him as high as 2, I think that'd be fair. I might even be inclined to say he even has an argument to be number 1. He did that much. Even if, sure, Siegless was anxious and gullible early on, Jorvaneum still had to put in a lot of work to get her to pass the throne down to him so he could be Squidward of Lathine. I mean Steward. Shit! Anywho, then he helped the 3 Vuites to sack Sinlir and the entirety of Lathine, got Haonaseed and Veseleth and Siegless all in one place, namely Sinlir, by using his enthronement as the means, and damn, those 3 barely escaped alive. If that had succeeded, Jorvaneum would easily be number 1 here. From there, he lets the demon-worshipping 3 Vu followers control Central and Eastern Lathine. So, the 3 Vuites and him also have an understanding to stay out of each other's way, so he was able to rule as King of Lathine over the West from his city of Kalandite, and even that seemed foolproof for a while. He even got the full support of the Salheodo Council, which is crazy to think about. That's like just YOLO waltzing in, getting the Catholic Church to throw out the Pope on the fly, and start thumbs-upping you instead. Again, he comes so close to being the undisputed number 1, but his 2 fights with Siegless, one-on-one for the throne, he just couldn't come through. If he'd won really either of those 2 death matches, or Siegless and Veseleth and Haonaseed weren't such a death squad, able to slip out of Sinlir and get safely to Reloia alive, Jorvaneum would be number 1 easily, but all that said, I put him at the 5. Number 4, and well, I think this will be the first one that gets some head scratching, at least from those of you familiar with the Lady of Light, but playing the 4, I've got High Priest Zavidikin. Zavidikin? Yes, the High Priest. He's the first person on this list so far that doesn't really have any demerits to him. Veseleth made a bad call fleeing to the mountains. Call was added weight and hassle in getting to Reloia. Jorvaneum lost his 2 duels with Siegless, but Zavidikin, he did most of what Jorvaneum did without the oopsies. Oopsies. Sure, there is the ending, but again, Jorvaneum really oopsied, really more so than Zavidikin per se. Whether or not he was already High Priest is irrelevant. The fact he was able to turn the entire Salheodo Council, minus Orman, against Siegless and to Jorvaneum is awe-inspiring. He spoke the words of the Holy Writings in chapter 26 beautifully, showing the kind of eloquent case he must have made to the Salheodo in order to shift their faith from Kanaya's line to Jorvaneum. And he really did keep the people loyal by and large, incredibly well. Thus, why Siegless had to resort to trying Jorvaneum one-on-one in a duel in the first place.
But yeah, speaking of the kind of eloquent case he made against Siegless, it's funny, because we don't have official art for the High Priest, but we do have video of his exploits. Anyways, here's the video of his beautiful case he makes against Siegless in The Lady of Light, Chapter 26, Scriptures and Philosophy.
how do you, who reject the promise of Iaga, then claim to hold it dear?
For the same reason, you stupid, dumb, freaking idiot. Duh! You're such a goofball, goon, and an idiot. Duh! Speaking like pig and prick. Perverted liar. You're a pathetic idiot, you know that? Duh!
What an absolutely beautiful argument. It's no wonder the High Priest got all the way up to number 4 on our list.
Like, really, High Priest Savitican definitely blends into the background more than anyone else on this list, but I can't knock him for that at all. With the things he managed to do, no matter how quietly. Number 3, Ring Face. Holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. Such a big impact from a dude with so little screen time. Holy crap. You honestly, after experiencing the Lady of Light, feel like this dude was in the whole thing front to finish. After Jorvaneum losing that fight against Siglis in Chapter 20, you just thought Siglis was going to keep in God mode, uncontested, freeing villages, and getting all the aid in the world.
Yeah, it was clear the False King and Great Apostate didn't have a grip on the situation, which made you feel like Siglis was untouchable, because she was to the west, where there shouldn't have been Therivu followers. The plan, for Siglis of course, was to
destroy her. Sudden destruction. Instantly. It won't take long. Her supporters will cry out weeping and mourning and say, "Too bad, too bad." But we will be thinking, I'm glad.
Thankfully, we have that video of a member of the Apostate Council delivering the key war plan, but it just wasn't happening.
And that's what made Chapter 21 and 22 so shocking. Siglis is at the height of everything, and yet even then, there was nothing she could begin to do to stop Ringface. He demolishes her knights almost single-handedly, takes her, whips her into a bloody pulp, and then lets her free for the reason of causing Jorvaneum issues. So in that way, Ringface is the catalyst of Jorvaneum's downfall, you could say. He could have taken out Siglis then and there, but spared her. And that's the incredible shadow hanging over Siglis and Jorvaneum's final duel. This air of, what are we really fighting for? The right to get our asses handed to us by Ringface in the future? Ringface nearly killed Call too, gave him a pretty good hit to the head. Less achievements, for sure, than some of the others, but his level of excellence is up there with the best, and his lack of any demerits is the best of the best. I could totally understand dropping him some spots or even rising him, but at least for me, I think his 2-chapter window was so calculated and powerful, and the lingering effects of his plans, that I just have to put him at the 3. Second, the runner-up, second place, Siglis herself.
Look at that little enemy of God.
Okay, someone get the Salheodo the hell out of here. They just ruined Siglis' introduction.
Too bad, too bad.
This is why I love the Lady of Light so much. Siglis grows so much over the course of this book, and there's no way in hell after the first half that you're thinking she'll climb this high. She wakes Iaga from slumber in Chapter 1, and is motivational and uplifting to Veseleth and Heonaseed in the first half, but that's it. That's really it. Other than one kill and stabbing one guy. The second half, though, is where Siglis really makes her mark, making her the anti-Veseleth in a way. She nets a solid plethora of wins early on, freeing little villages here, helping the 3 Knights of Erloia there, but her big thing to hang her hat on is, of course, virtually, single-handedly, through sheer willpower, undermining Jorvaneum's rule. Which includes finding a way into Calandite, enduring even after torment from Ringface, and taking out Jorvaneum in single combat after holding her own in theological debate against High Priest Zavidikin.
You talk like a pile of garbage.
Hence, once more, the line of Kanaya stands as ruler over the free people of Lathine. It's really everything that Siegless does some of in this book, from, again, the support role early on, to the leadership and fighting role in the second half. I think that flexibility of things to hang her hat on, along with, actually getting the job done in the end, killing Squidward, and taking out Zavidikin, is why she goes higher than them on my list, and nearly comes up to number 1. Number 1, Haonaseed. I think this is a really debatable list, and understandably so. A lot of people would probably put Siegless on top, maybe even some Ringface or Zavidikin or Jorvaneum. But I have to go Haonaseed. He was really that dude in the first half of The Lady of Light, the half he was in, and even in the second half. His teachings keep ringing in Siegless's head to help her so many times. Sinleir was swarmed by thousands of cultists, the Lathinian army was defeated, and Haonaseed still managed, with no more than Veseleth and Call, somehow to get Siegless all the way to Veloia. Evading tracker after tracker, coordinating counterattacks, going into contingency after contingency, his brilliance in getting everyone there alive cannot be said enough of. I just have to put him number 1 consequently. Literally had no other aid than Veseleth for fighting, and again. With Siegless the most wanted person on the planet, the enemy in full control of Central Lathine, throwing everything they could at him, he still managed to get Team Siegless to Veloia. Absolutely crazy. Badass, 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 bad-tempered mother effer.
You are the most angry man I've ever met.
On top of that, his archery skills were pivotal in getting out of Sinleir in Chapter 2, and his knowledge of Sinleir proved otherworldly there. He had hundreds of people chasing them down, and still managed to hit every right back alley, every turn, every road, get to horses, get through fights quick, and get the hell out of there. He had a good fighting display with Veseleth also in Chapter 4 of Chariteo. Together, they take on a crapload of soldiers, while Siegless and Call stay back in hiding, or were supposed to stay back in hiding, at least. But anyways, from fighting to strategy, Haonaseed was the man. And that's why I have to put him at the top of our list. So yeah, Haonaseed number 1, Siegless 2nd, Ringface 3rd, Zavidikin 4th, Squidward 5th, Veseleth 6th, Call 7th. Yep, that's our list. I don't really know how to end this off. Go read The Lady of Light if you haven't. Really good book that's easiest to find on Amazon. Like and subscribe to help out this young indie author. Thanks. Love you all. Can't wait to delve deeper into this series with you all in the future. Love y'all. Lights out.